Hi Year 2, today's story is called The Terrific Trip of Douglas Drip, written by Carol Mace and illustrated by Beth Yates. Let's get started. The sun shone down on the sea one day, where the white-orange clownfish lay. Seahorses swam in their undersea caves, a silent world beneath the waves. Almost invisible white mist had appeared out of the sea, and it looked really weird. It swirled in the air, floating higher and higher. It looked like thin smoke. Was the sea on fire? Do you think the sea's on fire, Year 2? I don't think it would, because water puts out fire, so I wonder what is happening. Let's find out. Look out, fire, the reef crab cried. Save yourselves, we'll all be fried. A little crab spoke. I thought you knew that water puts out fire. It's true. This must be warm air, which happens when the sun heats the sea and then warm air floats up and turns cold. Then it makes a cloud, or so I'm told. Oh, so it's the warm air is making the sea evaporate and form a cloud in the sky. And it happened as angelfish fed. A rain cloud was made, as the little crab said. It grew big and woolly like a giant sheep's body. It looked like the day would end rather soggy. The gentle breeze stopped and a swirling wind blew. The clouds started floating as new clouds grew. The wind blew harder and cloud moved faster, curling around like spaghetti pasta. On that page there's two similes. Can you remember what they are? That's right, they're when the author is describing something by comparing it to something else, saying it is similar to something else. Can you spot the similes in the story? Okay, the first one is, it grew big and woolly like a giant sheep's body. And the second one is, curling around like spaghetti pasta. Small drops of water began to appear inside the rain cloud in the shape of a sphere. They doubled in number, they doubled in size, and soon they were bobbing and flinging high fives. And how merry it was for a very short time. But the raindrops got squashed and they started to whine. Hey, can't you move over and give me some space? Said a rude water drop with a very flat face. No, replied Douglas, as that was his name. I know it's a squash, but try not to complain. Please let us out, I can't take any more. Hey, where's the way out? Does this thing have a door? Complaining, the raindrops started to slip down the rain cloud and towards Douglas Drip. The drops sped on from a roll to a gush. Douglas knew then he would end up as mush. Which two words in this story suggest that the raindrops are going fast? Have a think about what we've read. Which words could it be? That's right, the word sped and the word gush. He had to do something. Quick, think of an idea. A grand clever plan to get out of here. With no time to waste, Douglas started to push down hard on the cloud to escape the crush. Then all of a sudden, a curious thing. The desperate drops began somersaulting out of the rain cloud and into fresh air, whirling and twirling like at the fun fair. What's happening in this part of the story? Can you think what we'd call it? Yeah, that's right, it's raining. The clouds has got too full and the raindrops are falling down to the earth. Whoops of delight followed cheers of glee. Hooray for that little guy, he set us free. Douglas was superhero of the day. Amazing, quite brilliant, a legend I'd say. I don't suppose you know where we'll land. I just wondered if you had anything planned. Douglas was asked by a fast falling drop. I'm not too sure we'll be able to stop. The raindrops all gasped, realising their plight. The mountain below was a terrible sight. So whose bright idea was it to fall from that cloud? Asked a big stroppy drop to a big stroppy crowd. Douglas could see that the angry mob knew Come on then, wise guy, tell us what we should do. Douglas was scared but said, let's have a race. Stroppy Drop declared it a raindrop chase. So the countdown began from 10 to 0, and the drops pitter-pattered on the earth below. Douglas splashed on a leaf in the river. With 3 other drops it was scary, however. Which words describe the sound of the raindrops when they hit the floor? Have a little think. That's right, pitter-patter describes the sound. A brave drop said, fear not, I'll be the captain. I'm sure we can handle this whitewater rafting. The leaf hurtled on for 1.25 miles, then it hit a rock and sank in deep water. But Douglas held on to that little green leaf the way he had clung to the weeds on the reef. Back then he was happy, his life full of pleasure, before he was part of this wild, mad adventure. So after a while the rapids were gone, the river was calm and the leaf floated on. Douglas at last could relax on his own and wander around on his green mobile home. The sun shone down on the river that day, where Douglas Drip on his leaf now lay. Fish swam in zigzags through the water below, in a silent world beneath the flow. So what happens now? Do you know? Do you know what happens now, year 2? I think this is the story of the water cycle, of how the water goes and evaporates up into the sky, forms clouds and then comes back down as rain. Douglas is now lying on a leaf in the sunshine. So what do you think is going to happen to him? He might evaporate back up into the sky, or his leaf might take him back to the sea and he'll join the sea or the ocean, and the water cycle will start all over again. Now this week I want you to do some research into the weather. I want you to monitor the weather. I want you to watch some weather forecasts. I want you to make some things that you can test what the weather's like. And I even want you to become a weather presenter and present your own weather forecast. So I hope you're going to enjoy this week's topic. It was really nice seeing you. See you very soon. Bye bye, year 2.